Hi everybody, welcome to the first in our local business features, and today I am with Andrea of Andrea's Hairoom in Morley. Great place, lovely, colourful, and really matches the persona and attitude and passion of Andrea. So we're going to go into some quick questions and cover what it is that Andrea does on a daily basis. How did you find yourself working in the hair replacement industry?
Long story. Basically, one of my family members lost their hair when they were very, very young. And so I used to go with them to the local dermatology back in Blackpool, which is where I'm from. And we would go and see the dermatologist. She'd get a referral to the local wig shop that would provide the NHS wigs. I used to go with them and just was obsessed with the shop, obsessed with the woman that run it. And all I ever wanted to do from that moment on was to work in that shop. So I drove her crazy. I used to ask, can I be your Saturday girl? Can I come and sweep the floor? Can I come on YTS or whatever? And then one day when I'd actually left school, she approached me and said, are you still interested? Which I definitely was. And so I talked to her on the Friday, walked out of the job I was in on the Saturday and started on the Monday. And she trained me, and this was a woman that was the best in the business. She'd been in the business for absolutely years. People came from all over to see her. And so she trained me, and then I built on that and eventually became a manageress. So I used to do a lot of running the business for her. She then sold the business much later on and sold me as a manager as part of the package, and I carried on there for another 3 years.
Cool.
So then after that I met my husband, which is why I'm now in Yorkshire. Right. So I've been over here 7 years now. And that's what's brought me over here. So I've been 3 years at these premises where I am now, with word of mouth spreading and getting more and more recommendations. The business is going from strength to strength. Do you feel you get any support locally by other shops, other businesses? To be truthful, a lot of my business referrals and recommendations come from out of Morley. I think there's still a lot of people in the Morley area that don't know I'm here. Morley's full of hairdressers, and I think a lot of them don't really know that I exist. And they've probably got clients that maybe need my help. So locally I don't really think people do know about me, but within the NHS and within the local hospitals and specialist units, that's where a lot of my
referrals. And do you get customers up and down the country, or do you find yourself getting customers from Europe or anything like
I have customers from abroad as well. Cool. I had one lady particular that could send me a picture of what she wanted, and I could cut it, style it, get it ready, work on head measurements and everything, and she would come over from Spain and it would be perfect for her. So there's been a few things.
So would she come over and have a holiday, or would she have the hair?
Come over for like a 3 or 4 day break to see family, and obviously work my appointment in. Amongst that, I've also done custom made units that have been ordered to take abroad to somebody abroad for a family member. So there's been a lot of that, but predominantly it's all local based. But my clients come from the whole of Yorkshire and even further afield. You know, they come from, they travel quite a distance.
Cool. What type of people do you help, and do you find critical illness hard to deal with?
Everybody that suffers with hair loss. You know, it could be alopecia related hair loss, which means they're not actually ill, but it's just often immune problems and things, but they're not actually ill, but they've still got the hair loss to deal with. So that's one type. And then there's obviously people that are having chemotherapy, so they're going through so much with the treatment and the side effects and everything, and the trauma of the hair loss and the diagnosis that they've been given. That's the very, very different parts. There's also people that have got trichotillomania, which is the obsession, the hair pulling obsession, where they'll pull the hair out. Yeah, and a lot of these things, especially with that, people tend to not talk about it, and they're very, very shy, and they're a bit reclusive about it. It's something that they don't really want to admit they do when they pull. But I've got lots of clients.
So do you find yourself becoming a support network for the family as well as the person who's suffering as well?
Yeah, and so they don't feel like they're on their own as well, because if they do suffer with trick, which is what they call it for short, you know, admitting is one thing that it's an illness, but it's so distressing for the family. I've got a lot of girls, you know, they could be going through, you know, GCSEs and problems at school, and you know, they're dealing with it and the effects of being pulling the hair all of the time, but like mums and families, and it's really, really awful for them.
It must be hard for them to approach it.
Yeah,
you know,
they can't. They
who
can't
wants
do
to
anything
talk
to
to
help.
their son or daughter in a way where they say, you know, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And are you going to admit to this? I suppose.
Yeah, and it's understanding that they're not doing it on purpose. If they could stop, they really would, because they're making themselves thoroughly miserable in the process. But if they could stop, they would. The youngest person I had come to me was a lady that brought her daughter, who was, I think she was about 3 years old, for some form of hair replacement, because she had literally got huge bald patches on her head, and she was pulling her hair at that age, and she said that she was even pulling her hair from being younger than that. You can't say that that's stress related. That's like possibly an obsessive compulsive disorder, something like that. You can't say that somebody at 3 is stressed enough to want to pull their hair out.
And you know, if they have a patch of hair, I suppose alopecia and trick, as you call it, how would you create a solution for that? Because that's not a hair piece as such, is it?
No.
So.
It just depends which way. With alopecia, generally, if they're suffering with patches, they can camouflage it for quite a while, combing it over and using some of the filling powders and different things. But it'll come to a point then when they can't do anything else, and then that will be a case of generally needing a full head wig or a hair system. That would be the ideal thing for somebody with alopecia. With trick, what we tend to find works the best is making it so that they can't get to their own hair. So maybe with a wig or a full head system that's actually glued, or using a strong adhesive tape or anything like that, so that they can't actually get to it. So they're keeping it on 24/7, they can't get to it, so they can't pull. So it's different, there's so many different, there's a different solution for absolutely every different individual person, not every individual condition like alopecia, chemo-related hair loss, radiotherapy patches, if they've had radiotherapy to the head, often leaves an area where the hair doesn't grow back. There isn't one solution for everybody. Everybody's so different, and it's what fits in with their lifestyle.
Right. That's unique in itself, the fact that you've got to deal with all those different things. It's not like you're just buying one wig stroke hairpiece and you just put that on. It's that whole support thing. It's knowing this will work for you better, understanding that you're putting a hairpiece on someone with trick, they might just pull it off and then start pulling at their own hair.
Yeah.
So I suppose understanding these people
it's so important to listen. It's so important to understand every individual person and their lifestyle and what they're aiming to achieve from it.
And that's why people need to come here.
Yes.
Could you give us an example of how you would help children with hair loss?
Okay. Children now, there's an amazing charity that I work really closely with called the Little Princess Trust, and there's people all over the country at the moment that are cutting the hair off and they're donating it to the trust, and that is then turned into wigs for children, predominantly children that are having chemotherapy, so it's cancer-related hair loss, but they do also help people with, children up to the age of 18 with alopecia, but they'll only help them the once, just to give them a step in the right direction of a human hair wig, which is much better for children, and they can curl it, they can style it, they look so much more realistic, but they will help people with alopecia, children 18 and under, but with chemotherapy, the charity will actually cover the costs of a human hair wig as many times as they need it when they're actually undergoing chemotherapy.
And how long does a human hair wig generally last?
It should last a year. It should last a year. I've got clients, when they know the do's and the don'ts and they listen and they keep in touch with me if they have a problem, they can get a year and longer out of these things. But if it was abuse and they wasn't doing the right thing and they was washing it the wrong way and abusing it with heat, people could be getting 6 months out of it. So that again is down to educating the family and the child, if they're old enough to be doing their own styling. It's really important to make sure that you don't just send them off. And they need to know the door's always open. They can come back, any questions, they can ring me. If they can't remember how to wash it, just pick up the phone. I'm just there all the time for them. So
cool. And what would you say is your unique selling point? What makes you different to other people that do a similar thing?
my unique selling point, I think, has got to be my experience. The amount of time I've been doing this, I've been doing it for 24 years now.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
You don't look like you've been doing it for 25 years.
Straight from school. So, yeah, I think the experience and the different scenarios that I've experienced during that time, I know how it works. I know what the clients need. You know, they certainly don't often want to be sat in a hair salon with other people having their hair done, talking about the fact that they don't have any. So a salon environment often isn't right. It's not private enough. You know, everything here is by appointment. Everybody sees me. It's all very private. It's all very one-to-one. It's just bespoke for every client, and it keeps things, you know, so that we're getting the right information across. And
Do you think you become a friend?
Definitely.
To all these people?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes they'll say a lifeline. You only need to look at my guest book and the comments and everything that are in there.
Yeah.
So it is important to be able to offer such a private, safe place for them to be able to talk and to feel confident, not self-conscious, and to build the confidence up. That's the biggest thing. You can give them a full head of hair, you can give them a beautiful wig or a hairpiece or a hair system, but then they need the confidence to get out there and face the world in it and feel like they can, you know, instead of putting it on and hiding away.
Do you find that, let's say that somebody who has just got a new hairpiece and then they go out for the first time, do you think that they panic a little bit about going into the street, into town, into places where the public are, there might be friends that have seen it for the first time? Do you think that that's something quite big they have to get over?
It's huge. That's really, really massive, and that's always a conversation we have. You know, and it's a case of sussing out their work life or their, you know, day-to-day routine and trying to work out the best way of doing this. A lot of people, they could be teachers, and they'll introduce a change generally during the summer holidays or when they've been a breakaway, and then when you go back to work everybody's had a bit of a different colour or whatever, so that's easier to introduce a change there.
So timing is good.
Timing has got a lot to do with it. Sometimes if they've wanted to like get a little bit of extra length in the hair than they had before, and it's a good way to perhaps tie it back and do something a bit different with it for the first couple of wears when you're going to work and seeing people that see you normally, throw them off the scent a little bit and wear it slightly different, and then when you feel like you've got away with it, wear it all down and have it all lovely how you aim to have it. But
Cool. Cool. And finally, do you have any advice for people suffering silently with hair loss?
just pick up the phone, ask for help. There is so much, it doesn't cost anything if they want to ring me, speak to me, tell me what they're dealing with over the telephone. If they want to come and have consultation with me, which is all free of charge and completely private, all they need to do is pick up the phone. I don't think I speak to anybody on the telephone that doesn't arrange to come and see me, and they all say from the minute they spoke to me they felt better. So that's only a good thing. They've got to do something about it.
Come and see Andrea. Andrea's Hairoom. All the details are going to be down there or up there or to the side, depending on which social media platform we're posting this on. Yeah, it's been great. I've loved it. I think you're a fantastic person. I think you do more than a lot of people in Morley, because I feel that you change lives, which then turns into saving lives, you know, because we have to be comfortable in our own skin or our own hair or new hair.
That's right.
So there you go. Thank you for today.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.